Trial
Salita.
version. Trial version. Trial version.
Madungog pa ninyo, class?
Dili na, sir.
Hindi na, sir. Hindi na, sir.
Okay, okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, class. Today, we will be discussing, or we will continue the discussion on trusses. So last week, we have discussed about analysis of trusses using method of joints, and now we will be discussing trusses using the method of sections. So, Victoria Angeli, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So could you please, what do you call this one? Um, tell me, what have you learned last time?
So good afternoon, everyone. The things that I've learned last time are all about trusses. So we have here the two following assumptions when it comes to trusses. The first one is that the loads must be applied only at the joints, and the second one is that all members are connected by a smooth pin wherein there is no moment without in those pins. And after that, we've st- we've learned how to solve the forces acting upon the truss using the method of joint, sir. That's all.
Yeah, very good. Those two assumptions that Victoria Angeli have mentioned will also be the same assumption that will be used in the analysis of trust using the method of sections. The difference between the method of sections and the method of joints is that in the method of joints, you have to solve each individual joints so that you will become, or so that you will be able to calculate the forces that is acting on each members of the truss. Meaning to say, you have to go through each joint in order for you to calculate the forces that is acting on your truss. Now, in the method of sections, as the name suggests, you only have to cut a certain portion of the truss and then isolate the free body diagram of that truss, and from there you can already calculate the forces in your truss. So this is what I'm saying. So the process that in using the method of sections, number one is we always have to calculate our support reactions. But there are also cases, hello, padungog ra ko ninyo class.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oo.
Yes, sir.
Wala. Namugo ko sa office and then wala ang connection dire. Wala magugo sa balay. So medyo if choppy ko just ingnar ako nga medyo choppy ang akong linya. Well, anyway, let me share you my screen. So can you see what's on my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when solving the member forces in the trusses using the method of sections, there are only four steps involved. Number one is to what? Solve your support reactions. Although not all the time this is required, but in most cases, if you will be able, if you can solve your support reactions, then it's better. So number one is to calculate your support reactions. So again, this is not always the case that you have to solve your support reactions before you can solve all the members in your trusses, but it is a good or it is a good start that if you can solve your support reactions right away, then do it. The second one is to cut your truss into two, meaning to say, as the name suggests, the method of sections, then you just have to cut a section through your truss, and then so the second process or the second step is involve cutting your truss and then expose the members that you are interested in solving. So cutting your truss and expose the members you are interested in solving. So what is the number three? So the third step is drawing the free body diagram. So if you cut your truss into two, let's say for example, you have this type of truss.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So you came good afternoon, everyone. Uh, my name is Engineer Saga from.
Can you see what's on my screen, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So let's say for example, this is a
Prepare and derivation of the current
let's say this is 20 kilonewtons,
and that is in standard.
and then we have a load here that is 10 kilonewton. So let's put the joint label. Let's say this is point A, B, C, D, and then E, F, G, H. Now, in the method of sections, you can easily calculate the members. Let's say, for example, the member BD or the member BE or the member BC without having to go through each joint of this truss. So in other words, the process in number two I'm saying is that you can cut the truss such that it will expose the members or it should pass the katunga members nga you are interested. Let's say I'm interested in solving the member force that is acting on member DE. So my cut would be something like this. So I can cut my truss to something like this. So niagi siya sa member BE. So I can either draw the free body diagram on the left or I can draw the free body diagram on the right. Can you, Juan class, can you follow unsay akong ginasulti? That when you're using the method of sections, you pass your cutting plane kung asa ka interesado nga mokuha sa member force. Let's say with this cut, unsa nga mga member force ang akong ma-identify or akong makuha? Cabrera Mark.
Yes, sir. Possible, sir, is sir. Pag mag C to E or E to B or D to B nga mga reactions.
Correct. So these are, yes, sakto si Mark. Nga, using this cutting technique, I can calculate the member forces that is acting on BD, BE, and CE. Is it always true that that has to be vertical only? Ricania? Purple.
We can we can also calculate the horizontal conversion.
So we can also cut our truss something like this.
I, I think
This
I
is the
think
horizontal.
no.
What do you think? Can we cut our truss like this?
No, siguro sir, since the forces na gi-apply is vertical. I
No,
think
sir.
The forces nga tong gi-apply is vertical. What do you mean? So that is so since if our external load has, let's say for example, has a load of horizontal like this, what do you call that one? Say your load is applied like this. Let's say 10 kilonewton load. Does this mean purple nga pwede na tang mukat og atong cutting plane, can we have it like this na in the horizontal way?
ay okay rin siya Japan sir. I think since na-expose ang external na load niya sir.
What do you
I mean
so unsa
members.
man? Is
Okay
it
ra to siya
okay or
okay ra
so,
siguro.
what okay rata nga mukat horizontally or it has to be vertically? What? Let me know your thoughts. Sige, purple.
It depends,
Hello?
ma'am.
Sige, Kim. It depends on what?
One more, sir. It depends. Wait, sir. Ako say. It depends, mga sir, kay tulo ka members atong or unknown members atong kwan, sir, di ba? So, mag-base po na, sir, kung mag-horizontal, sir, mag-horizontal ka, sir. So, unom naka-members man na. So, usa, dua, talo, upat, lima, unom. So, six. So, dili na siya pwede, sir. Pero, pag, pag vertical, sir, at least three members man, sir. So, diya, sir, pwede na ito makasolve. The,
Yeah, actually you are correct. So, Kim Cloyd is correct. So we can actually have a different technique. Pwede na siyang horizontal, pwede na siyang vertical, but you have to understand that you only have to pass nga kanang only as few members nga kanang imong magian. Because when you cut it vertically, tulura ka members ang atong magian, BD, DE, and CE. Meaning to say, we only have three unknowns and we have three reactions. Three unknowns and then three equilibrium equations. Then therefore, we can easily solve this one, right? We have the unknown. If we cut it vertically, let's say section, let's say if we cut it at one section, then the unknowns are only BD, BE, and CE. But if we cut it horizontally, just like for this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have seven unknown members. We have AB, AC, BC. Daghan kay kang mga unknowns. So although this is possible, pwede ni siya. It's just that maglisod ka compute because you have so many unknowns to deal with. Okay? Hello?
Yes sir.
yes, sir.
Daggan
Yes,
kayo
sir.
kang daggan kayo kang mga unknowns nga agian. You can also have it this way. Dason wala man guna siya gisulti. But you can also cut it something like this. This is also possible. Let's say this is 3, 3. You can also cut your truss horizontally. But the rule just, usara jud ang rule ani is just that you only have to pass that section once. So when you cut your truss, you only have to pass that section once. Let's say for example in the vertical, usara iskas ara man nimo nagian ang BD. Iskas ara nimo nagian ang BE. Iskas ara nimo nagian ang CE. When you cut at section 3, 3, iskas ara nimo nagian ang EG. Iskas ara po nimo nagian ang FG. And iskas ara po nimo nagian ang FH, right? Can you get it now?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, so dapat dili pwede ngayon ani. Dili pwede ngayon ani ha, like you cut it so na to na siya. You cut it like this. Ana. Dili pwedeng inanaon mo
So,
siya
dili
pagkat.
magpaslant, sir.
Pwede pagpaslant.
Dili
Basta
pas...
iskas alang. Pwede, pwede
Basta
ka,
kay di
pwede ta mag,
mo curve, sir.
basta dili ka kanang, dili ka mo curve or basta once lang nimo maagyan ang usa ka member kay. Let's say for example in ani, mukat kag something like this. So dili pwede kay imong gi-cut the section at this point ang FG and then naagian na pug kag another cut at section at FG na sad. So duha ka point ang naagian sa imong cutting. So that is not correct. Okay? So so the third step here is to what? Draw your free body diagram.
Excuse me, sir. Okay ra pa
Yes.
multiple cuts or usara jud the cut?
Pwede ra ka sa usa ka truss. Pwede ka ikadaghan mo siyang ikat. Ika-chop-chop mo siyang ika how many times you want it. Is that your
Okay, sir.
question, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Pwede din mo siyang i-cut. Yes, pwede tang mukat at 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Depende. Pwede ra na siya. As long as again, is usara ka point ang imong giagian. And then the number 4 is apply the equilibrium equations. So how many equilibrium equations do we have?
Three, sir.
Zanif
sir.
Tulo, sir.
Tulo. We have summation of forces horizontal, summation of forces vertical, and then summation of moments. Okay, let's try to calculate this thrust. By the way, this thrust is what can you conclude from this thrust based from the structure of the thrust itself? Is it what?
Symmetrical, sir.
Symmetrical, sir.
Symmetrical, sir.
Yeah, look symmetrical pero wala pa may dimension. Sige, let's assume na lang this is symmetrical. This is a symmetrical truss.
It is on the right side, no? And the pillars are for 5 states will be provided with handrails.
So let's say I'm interested in solving members BD. Ito na lang siya. Solve for the BD, BE, and CE. So, unsay pasabot if this truss is symmetrical? What can we conclude that if this truss is symmetrical, unsa may atong mga conclusions dayon ani niya?
Ang relate sa opposite side, sir, kay equal lang siya sa opposite.
Very good. So meaning to say, at point D and point E, this is kanang murag nag-separate sa ato nga truss. So the members AB is just equals to the members FH. And then the members BE is just equal to the members EF. Can you follow class sa katong mga wala kat kuan? Sayo lang siya
Sir.
follow, no?
Yes.
Okay. So the first, sa ganitong first step na to is we calculate the support reactions. So at point A, this is what? This is a hinge support. So how many support reactions are we expecting at point A?
2, sir.
Dua. So I am just assuming that this is a something like this and then upward. So this is my FAY. Ano na lang. Let's have it as AY. And then AX. And then at point H, how many support reactions do we have?
1, sir.
Only one at the vertical.
Yes, sir.
Sige. So these are the joints. Ana. So if we take summation of forces horizontal is equals to 0, what do we have? Medyo ang lisod og ana para kana medyo dako sa screen. Summation of forces horizontal, what do we have, class? AX is equals to, do we have external loads that is acted
Zero.
in the horizontal direction? 0. Okay, very
None,
good.
sir.
Para if he decides to put some support below the floors, no? Pero
So AX is equals to 0. And then, summation of forces horizontal, if we take summation of forces vertical is equals to 0, what do we have? So AY is just equals to HY due to symmetry. Butang sa tawag mga dimensions kay murag wala ta kalabutan. Let's say this is 2 meters, 2 meters, then 2 meters, 2 meters, and then this is, let's say this is just also 2 meters. So we have AY plus namanggoy ga precon diri class. So medyo langas. AY plus HY is equals to, what are the forces? 20, 20 plus 40, so 80. 20 plus 20 plus
90.
40. Ah?
Ay, for TDI.
So this is just 80. So 2AY is equals to 80. And then AY is equals to 40 kilonewton. And then HY is also 40 kilonewtons. So, ma-follow ra class?
Yes, sir.
So, ma-follow lang man siya, no? So, let's try to calculate the member BD. Pwede na itong solve na itong member BD, no? So, let's take, ato ning i-take ding atras, duplicate. Ay, now. So again, this is now the free body. I'm now drawing the free body diagram. So I will just cut this section right here. I will do a partial cut. So ako na siyang ipang-delete. So I use the left section. But you can also use the right. So it doesn't matter, basta pareha lang na siya. And then, so if I'm going to extend this one, right here, and also this one. So what points ganit ni? This is A, B, C, this is D.
D, sir.
And then I will just assume that these are what? These members are in tension. I will always assume that tension lang ni siya. So these are the forces. If you cut the section class, you always have to, when you make a cutting plane, or when you cut the section, you always have to expose the internal support or the internal reactions that is happening. So this is the members FBD. This is, what is this? FBE, and then this is FCE. Ma-follow lang class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is 2 meters. So asa man ko mo take og summation of moments? Can I take or can I use, we have three, di ba? Ang unang step is the support reaction, and then two is the cutting plane, and then number three is you draw the free body diagram. This is now the third step, and then the fourth step is you apply the equilibrium equation. So how many equilibrium equations we have? Ingon mo ganina, tulo. So one of that is horizontal, vertical, summation of moment horizontal, summation of forces vertical, and then summation of moments. So in that three equations, unsa ang applicable?
Moments, sir. Summation of moments.
Moment sabi.
Sa B. Okay? So if we take summation, ningon si, kinsa to? I think si Judiel. Ningon si Judiel na we can take summation of moment at point B. So if we take summation of point B, then therefore, members BD and members FB is connected at point B, right? Hello? The members BD and members BE is connected at the joint
Yes,
B.
sir.
These are connected at the joint B. So meaning to say, if I take summation of moments during the pita, I do not have a moment arm because it is acting at that joint. So therefore, this BD and BE can be zero. So let's do it. So if we take summation of forces, take summation of moment at B is equals to zero, I take clockwise positive. So what are the clockwise acting at members BD? We have AY, tama?
Yes, sir.
Point B, AY. So you have AY. So what is the moment arm at AY?
2, sir.
2. Very good. What else? Do we
3,
have?
sir.
No, only the clockwise lang sa. Wala na?
Wala na,
So
sir.
we have equals to the counterclockwise. So what are the counterclockwise forces? We have AX, but AX is equal to 0.
CE, sir.
AX is just equal to 0. And AY is, pila tong AY? I think it's 40
40, sir.
kilonewton. So this is 40 kilonewton. So therefore, we have, unsa pa?
CE,
CE,
sir.
sir.
CE. So F, CE, counterclockwise. Okay, what is the moment arm at CE?
2, sir.
2, sir.
Also 2. So these two will just cancel. So therefore, FCE is equals to 40
40.
kilonewton. And CE is in what? Is it in tension or in compression?
Tension, sir.
Tension.
This is in tension. So we have already calculated the forces in members CE, bisan wala ta nag-agi sa mga joints. So since this is symmetrical, we have also calculated member EG. Now we have two. Duwa na lang nga ito ang kulang. Unsa pa man?
Summation of vertical forces, sir.
Pwede. We can do summation of vertical forces because unsay atong ma-achieve if we do
Usa na lang
summation of
ang
forces vertical.
BE,
usa
sir. BE, sir.
We can
kanang kuan,
calculate.
sir, reaction sa BA.
Correct. So if we do summation of forces vertical, we will be able to calculate the member force in FBE. So at least kanang kabalo na ning uban. So how about the others? Summation of forces vertical is equals to 0. So positive going up. So unsa may mga, so what are the forces nga pasaka? This AY.
AY, sir.
So this is
AV,
40
sir.
kilonewton. This is 40 kilonewton. What else?
Wala na, sir.
Pasaka. Wala na. Is equals to Unsa pa man? Unsa may
20
mga
o
20
20.
For
and
BE, sir.
FBE, sir.
FBA, which is FBEY, the vertical component of ana man na siya. So this one has a vertical and horizontal component. So this is FBX, this is FBEY, FBEX. So this is FBE, this is the X component, and then this is FBE, this is the Y component. So, plus FBEY component. But what is the Y component of this one? What is the Y component for this one? We know that this is in the angle,
Root 8,
Over
sir.
1, sir.
so we can have it like this. So this is 2, and then the horizontal is 2, and then the vertical is 2, and then this one is by Pythagorean theorem. What is this? 2 the square root of 2. So 2 the square root of 2, but 2 is common factor, then we can cancel that one. So this becomes just a 1 the square root of 2. Can you, lang class, can you follow this one?
Yes, sir.
So what
Yes,
is
sir.
FB? So FBEY, so 40 kilonewton is equals to 20 kilonewton plus, so what is the vertical component? 1 over the square root of 2. So 1 over the square root of 2 FBE. So this is the Y. So this is 20 kilonewtons times the square root of 2 is equals to FBE. So what is FBE? Ano na lang, 20 the square root of 2.
28.284 kilonewtons.
28, sir.
Ano na lang kay para kuan. Or 28. Isa to? 28.
28.284
28.4.
kilonewtons.
24.
So if your answer is in radicals such as 20 over the square root of 2, that is correct. But if you round it off to 28.28, then it is also correct. And then the last one, unsa ang atong kulang is what class?
Horizontal.
FBD.
BD, sir.
FBD.
FBD.
So unsaon man nato pagkuha ang atong FBD? Planteras, could you please turn off your microphone? Sige. Unsaon man nato pagkuha ang member sa FBD?
Horizontal, sir.
We can have summation of forces horizontal, but I think dagan kay kang wait. 1, 2, 3. Tulo ang involved, but I can also take a summation of moment at point E, right? Sige, let's do it. Let's do summation of forces horizontal, and let's see if I take summation of moment at E, if parehara ba siya ang answer. So if I take summation of forces horizontal is equals to 0. So positive going to the right. O so this is BE is in, tama ba? BE is tension, correct? If we take summation of forces horizontal, so unsa may involve? FBD. Hello, class.
FBE,
No,
sir.
sir.
FCE, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What else?
AF.
Member
The,
FBE, sir.
the horizontal component of FCE, tama? Oh, I mean FBE. So what is the horizontal
FCE.
component
Yes,
of
sir.
So what is the horizontal component of FBE? So it's 1 over the square root of 2 FBE. What else? We have AX plus AX, but we all know that AX is equal to 0.
Zero.
So, wala na. Tama?
Yes, sir.
We have, so FBD
Yes, sir.
is equals to FCE minus 1 over the square root of 2 FBE. So what is FCE? Have we calculated? That's negative. That is 40 minus 1 over the square root of 2. And FBE is 20 the square root of 2. So the square root of 2 cancels. Therefore, FBD is just negative 60 kilonewton, or FBD is equals to 60 kilonewton. This is in compression. Can you follow this class?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Good. So let's try to compare, since we use horizontal summation of forces, vertical summation. But how about if I take summation of moment at E? If I take summation of moment at point E, they should, unsa may akong masolve, it's FBD, right? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So because
Yes, sir.
FBE and FCE is kanang connected to point E, then therefore this forces becomes zero. So ang akong mabilin is members FBD, and if I take summation of moment at E, then I will be able to solve FBD. So this is just for checking if indeed 60 kilonewton ba compression ang magawas ana. So let's do it. Taking summation of moment at point E is equals to 0, clockwise is positive. So what are the clockwise? So we have AY, that is 40 kilonewton. Take summation of moment. So what is the moment arm?
4.
4,
Four,
sir.
sir.
Very, very good. That is 4. So, unsa pa yung mga clockwise? It's FBD, right? Plus FBD. So what is the moment arm of FBD?
2,
2,
sir.
sir.
Huh?
2,
Very
sir.
good.
2.
Unsa pa? Wala na tayo clockwise. Wala na. We only have
Wala na, sir.
counterclockwise, which is we have 20. So what is the moment arm of 20? What is the moment arm of 20, class?
2, sir.
2, sir.
2, sir.
2.
So therefore, so we have 2 FBD is equals to negative 80, negative 160. So negative 40 times 40, that's 160. So negative 160 plus 40. So FBD is 120, class, no? Negative 120 over 2. So therefore, FBD is equals to negative 60 kilonewton. So same sila og answer.
Pwede na siya mag-summation of moment at sir.
Ha?
Summation of moment sa E para makuha ang FBT.
Pwede ra ka. Pwede ra ka, you can take summation of moment at E, or pwede po kang mag-summation of forces horizontal or summation of forces vertical. So it doesn't matter. So unsa nga equilibrium equation ang imong gamiton, it doesn't matter. Mugawas gyud na ang tinuod nga answer if sakto ang imong process or sakto ang imong solution. So as you can see, I take summation of moment at E. Ang nigawas is negative 60 kilonewton, and still same silang duwa. So checks. So this one is checks. So okay silang duwa. Yes?
Pwede ra na anggot ra ang itang sa control.
Pwede ra pud og angle, but the problem with using angle is ang pag-round off nimo. Kay because if mag-angle ka, round off pa man kay, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point, 'di ba, mag-angle ka, mag-round off pa man ka, and at some point kanang pagkuan mo sa imong solution, then ma-approximate na siya ba? Unless if you use the kaning radical nga sign, which is kaning mga the square root or something, then you can ma-carry nimo ang tibuok sign. But still, it's okay if magamit Japan ka og angle. But for me, I personally prefer using inani, kaning inani nga method, rather than just have an angle. So let's have another example using the method of sections. And then let's try, sige, let's try to cut this section at this level. Ay. Just to prove na it is okay to cut horizontally. This is a cut. This is the cut 2-2. So, kung sa inyong ganang i-expose na to, or which free body diagram would you like us to use? Kaning members A, B, C, D, or kaning members E, F, G, H? Hello? Sige,
Sa
try to
pikas na
kuan.
po, sir.
Sa pikas
Sige,
na po,
sa
sir.
pikas na sadta.
Yes.
So, in this cut, I am interested to get members DF ha. Di na nakusolvo ni DE, DA, BD, and CE because ato nang nasolve ning BE and CE. I'm just trying to solve members DA if DF if dapat mo equals ni siya into member BD because this truss is symmetrical. So, what is your force in member BD should be equal to the member DF. So, if mo found out nato nga members DF is equal to DE, pila to atong DE? Ano to? What's this? BD. Dapat ang mugawas is negative 60 kilonewton. So this right here, members DF, must be 60 kilonewtons compression. Okay, na-follow ra nato, no?
Yes, sir.
So, let's duplicate this one. Just ubos na to ibutang kay para
Now, ang kuha na ninyo, so kinala nato yung i-type meaning hook deck, no?
So ningon mo nga diri na pud ta sa pika. So let's cut this members. Ato sa ang tangtangon ning mga unnecessary nga mga kuan. So let's cut these members right here, diri, diri, and then let's cut the whole thing. Ay.
And then the glass wall,
Dira na ako kung ano na. So wala na ni siya labot because nakat naman nato siya. So this is just member, I know. So what is this section? So if we extend right here,
if you could see this one here on the left side, you can see the glass wall.
so ato na lang delete ni because nakat na na siya. Ang sa nga member, it's mem point D. This is a point D.
On the center and on the right side of the building.
And then,
So now they depend
so asa man ko magkuha na ni class? Where do you think mag-moment ko para makuha na ko akong DF, force DF? So after na, I am exposing my forces nga nakat.
this is on the left side elevation of the building, no? And you can see the glass wall on top. Three layers.
So this is
Three layers of glass wall.
F, DF. This is, napaday ko yung isa.
Right side elevation, makita niyo itong
FDE. This one is FBE, and then we have a, a CE.
Could we see the additional plan that I sent recent
So, unsa man class. So, you should be able to calculate what member? Class. Asa man ko dapat mag moments?
At E,
Sir,
sir.
Ha?
E, sir.
E.
At what?
Pwede
Correct.
ka add, sir.
Ha?
E.
E? Letter E? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. If mag-cut ko sa member E, unsa man ang dili ma-include? FDE, FBE, and FCA because all of these are connected at point E. So therefore, what is only now ang ma-include sa atong equation is only FDF. Correct. So ato siyang i-move. Let's move it right here. So taking summation of moments at point E is equals to 0. Pass y positive. So what? Unsa may atong mga positive forces? Unsa gani this is 40 kilonewton. Namo ko sa E. So unsa man atong mga clockwise forces? Clockwise forces class, clockwise.
20 kilonewton, sir.
Very good. 20 kilonewton times what's the moment arm? It takes a mission moment at point 2. Very good.
2, sir.
Napabatay clockwise force? Wala na.
Yes, sir.
Wala na, sir.
Is equals to counterclockwise. Unsa atong counterclockwise nga force?
40, sir.
40. What's the moment arm of 40?
4, sir.
4.
4,
4.
Very
sir.
good. And then, what else?
FDF, sir.
FDF.
FDF. So what's the moment arm of FDF?
2, sir.
2. So therefore, FDF, so FDF, 2 FDF is equals to 40 minus 160. So FDF is equals to negative 120 over 2. So FDF is equals to negative 60 kilonewton, or FDF is equals to 60 kilonewton, and that is compression. So, correct ba siya? FDF, ato ba siyang FDF is equals to FBE ba siya? Yes, correct.
Yes, sir.
FDF FDF and FBE is equal because we know that this is a symmetrical truss. So therefore, FBD must be equal to FDF. And FBD is 60 kilonewton compression. And we've also calculated using another side of the truss that FDF is also 60 kilonewton compression. So this one is the process. So mula ni siyang process atong method of sections. Isn't it easy, class?
Mas okay siya, sir, kay Mubo.
Ah, yeah. Mogo ni siya. Mogo ni siya ang advantage ani niya. Okay siya kay mugbo. So ako mas ganahan ko method of sections because mugbo man siya. It's just that you have to understand asa ka dapit mo cut sa imo nga sections. Because if dili ka kabalo mo cut asa ka dapit, maglibog gid ka. So can we have another example so that we will kuan. So let's have some more examples, and then we will proceed with bearing and then shearing. So let's have kanang dili siya kanang what kind of truss nga. Let's have a truss nga kanang medyo a little bit complicated, and then dili siya. Saglit lang ha. Ano yung nanawag? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello, okay, okay. So, I'm back. So, mangitatag medyo kanang a little bit complicated nga trust, and then let's do kanang method of sections or sa ba.
We need to remove the stuff there sa second floor. I don't know where we're going to put it.
Kanang dili siya symmetrical.
Sa C1?
Ano na lang. So, himo na lang ko ha, and then this is and then by the way class, next week we'll be having our first exam. So, the coverage is from the very beginning until kani siyang topic nato karon. So, we'll have it on Saturday.
Excuse me, sir. Dili ba Holy Week? Holy Week next week, sir.
Yun Sunday. Holy Week na ba next week?
Yes, sir. Holy Week
Yes,
na, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Saturday
Sige
next week.
Akong kitaon if holiday siya ang Holy Week. Kay mostly ang holiday and it's only Thursday and Friday. But if it is not holiday ang Saturday, then we will continue with the exam on Saturday. But if it is holiday ang Saturday, then we'll have our next first exam next week. I mean, week after next. So this is kuan medyo para dili siya.
Oh,
So here.
we have one included there are six smart TV. So in case maybe one of the TV is the
How about this kind of trust? Sige. Sige, basta kato, akong giingon ninyo, if dili holiday ang Saturday, then we will have our exam on Saturday. But if it is holiday, then we will have it next week. Ako ra kita sa kalendaryo if unsa. Any objections?
Wala ra, sir.
No, sir.
Dapat wala ra. So, this is medyo madugay jud kog drawing class so kay bati kay ko ma-drawing pa jud so so what not to scale lang ni siya ako ra ni siyang himuon nga kuan. And then this is also 6. And then this is ano na lang. This is 3 meters. This is 3 meters. And then utang tag load. As in, medyo complicated na jud siya pero sige lang. Let's have the support here. What else? Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The object manager also, so there is site engineer, safety, materials engineer, not necessarily, uh, ang, ang, ang kuwan na
So what is this? This is 3 meters.
the site engineer lang, wala na yung project engineer, project manager, gamay naman siya, data. So, we can,
This is 222. Okay, 2 meter.
site engineer, safety officer, so that's why. Foreman, yes, they have foreman.
This is 12. This is 3 3. Okay.
Welder also, painter, plumber, okay.
Nana ba diri tanan class atong kinahanglan? What
I think, di na siguro kailangan electrician kaysa itong electric fan. Ito ang may i-connect kung
think okay na ni. Ha?
Yung duha ka triangle sa side side.
Asa man nadapit? Ay kani. This one. Ansa man? Asa duha ka triangle sa pikas nga side? Na naman tayo force.
Mason may Tyler. Wala may Mason di
Basta muna na siya.
Tyler may tawag nila yung Tyler.
So unan sa to atong unang aso. So the points A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So is this truss symmetrical? Obviously, dili na siya. So is the loading symmetrical? Dili na po siya symmetrical.
Siguro sa demobilization lang siguro, demobilization.
So unsa yung buhaton na to class? Calculate the support reactions. It's AY, AX, and then HY. So, class, unsa man ni? We take summation of moments at point A. So, clockwise positive. So, what are the clockwise forces? Class, clockwise. The first joined at 2.
2
So,
sa
what is the
base.
momentum? What is the momentum of 2? That is 4. Then, another 2, which is kaning 2 at point D. So, what is the moment arm? So, what else? So, another one at 2. So, what is the moment arm? 12.
12.
So, another 2. So, what's the moment arm?
15.
16.
15. Correct.
15 eh.
So, plus 1 kilonewton. What's the moment arm? 18. Tama?
Yeah, yes sir.
Yes, sir.
And then, what is counterclockwise? AY, HY rather, time 18. So, could you please evaluate all of this? And let me know what is the value of HY.
One dinosaur din na 4.
This is 1. Sorry, what? This is 1. 1 na siya 1. Sige. Ilan ni class?
6.33.
5.33, sir.
Ha?
Point 33, sir.
Point 33? Pila?
5.333.
5.33.
In fraction lang daw. 16
16
over
over
3?
3, sir.
16 over 3?
Yes, sir. 16 over 3.
So 16 over 3 kilonewton. Mas ganan kog fraction kay para tanan na siya. So, if we take summation of forces, horizontal is equals to 0, therefore AX is equals to 0. And then, summation of forces vertical is equals to 0. What do we have? AY plus HY is equals to 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. So, pila ang AY? Tama ba? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, 10 minus 16 over 3. So, pilang AY? So, 30 minus 16. So, that's
14 over 3, sir.
14 over 3. I think 14 over 3. So, this is 14 over 3 kilonewton. So, asa man ta, which member of this ang interested ta nga solvon? So let's say we are going to solve DF or CD. What do you think? DF na lang. So let's solve DF. So let's solve DF. So asa man ta mukat sa atong DF? And we're
Islan,
also
sir.
ato siyang islan? Something like this?
Diagonal, sir.
Vertical na, sir.
Pwede.
Pwede na.
Actually, pwede. Pwede sa ginana nga cut. We will be able to solve the F because F, E, G, E, and G, H will just cancel out. May mo siyang zero. Pero pag drawing na to is little bit complicated na siya, which is pareha ganina. Medyo daghan kitang drawing ngunon. Ana na lang. Okay ra bag ato lang inanaon?
Yes, sir.
Ato ra siyang
Pero,
ikat.
Yes, sir.
Ato na siyang inanion kay para gamay ra kay tag drawing ngunon. Ah. So, Fapti. So which section ang atong gamiton? The left or the right? So ito na siyang ibutang diri ha. These are the joints para natin reference. Mali siya ang nangawala. And this one, this one. This one, this one. Ayan lang. Sumulang ni problema ani kay dag ano to sa tangtangon. So this is just 6 meters. Hmm. Ay, walang gamaya. So, ay, wala ni siya labot eh. Tira. So, I am just assuming this is in tension. So, unsa ni siya nga number F, DF. This is FDE. FCE. So, unsa man ni class? What? So, asa man ta mag-summation of moments? This one is AY is 14 over 3. It's better ka nang expose na lang daan the angle para di ta maglisod. So what is the angle during the pita? What is the rise? It's 6 for DF. DF. This one. 6. The height is 6 and then it's 12. Tama? The height is 6 and then the length is 12. So 6 divided by Hello. Napa ba ko? Madungog pa ba ko? Padungog pa ko ninyo class dili na.
Wala kanina sir.
Wala ka, sir.
Wala
Wala
kanina.
sir.
Wala ka, sir.
Kana, how about that one?
Okay na sir.
Okay na, sir.
Okay, okay. So can you follow this one? 1 the square root of 2. Balik ko na to Kay murag wala ta nakuha dira ganyan. So muna let's have the angles. So what is the angle for this one? So what is the overall height? So let's use the triangle AFE. The big triangle AFE. So what is the total height? That is 6 meters. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ma-follow ra? And
Yes,
then the
sir.
total length is 12. So 6 divided by 12, we can reduce it as 1/2. Tama? So this is
Yes, sir.
6 or this is 12, but we can also write it as 1/2 because 6 pwede rangin ana. But you can also write it as 6 over 12. And then this one is pila ni? So the square root of 5. Very good. How about for the other one? This one, FDE. So what is the height at this point?
Wala na buta.
Can we solve it or delete? Class, can we solve it or no? Ma-solve ba nato ni or dili? Pila man ni? So this is This is y. Yes. This is x. Can we do ratio and proportion for solving for y? So what is x for this one? So this is 8. Tama? The total length from A to B is 4 plus B to D is 4. So the total length is 8. But for A to C this is just 6. So this therefore this is 2. para ma-total siya 8. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Na, na-follow ra? So,
Yes,
ito
sir.
siya nga nauna
Yes,
lang
sir.
ko. And then, this one, can we do the ratio and proportion for the triangle ADC prime, this is point C prime, and then triangle AFE. So, by similar triangle, so, inani dyan niya kung if this is like, o ginani akong exam jud class. Like, daghan kayo mong pangitaon pa. Ana. So, let's do it. So, by similar triangle, it's y over x. That is y over x is equals to, what is your y? That is 6 over 12. But what is your x? It is 2. Tama? So y is equals to 2 times 6 over 12. So 12, 12. So y is just equal to 1 meter. So this is just equal to 1 meter. And then this is just equal to 4. Therefore, na-follow ninyo class? This is x, no? Kaning x is equals to 2 meters. Kaning the distance between this one. Hello, ma-follow rin ninyo.
Uy, big. Kausog, sir. Ako kakalo, sir.
Ay, mali, mali.
Libog,
Not,
sir.
not, not. So, I am, so nani ha? So, I am using this, unsa man yung mga similar triangles. So, I am using a ratio and proportion with this one, this triangle, and the bigger triangle, which is this triangle. Can you follow now? Can we do a
Sir.
duration proportion now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so let's do y over, so y is equals to 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is equals to, what is the height? 6 over 12. 6 over 12. Can you follow it? So by similar triangle,
Sir,
y over x. Ha?
ano kayong na 2, sir? Ang X.
Because this one is 4 plus 4, that is
Ah,
8.
okay.
Tama?
Ah,
Then
okay, sir.
6 minus 6, so this one is equal to 2. This distance is just equal to 2.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay? Okay. Follow rataran, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so you should have a very good understanding sa inyo. Please review your geometry. So y is equals to 8 times 6 over 12. So pila man ni 48 divided by 12. That is 4, I think.
4. 4, sir.
So this is 4. So therefore, your y is equals to 4 meters. So therefore, we can have it like this. So this is 4. This is, however, pila man ni siya nga distance. This distance is pila na ni Ron.
4, sir.
4, sir.
That is also 4. So that is also 4. So 4, 4. So therefore, I can also write it as 1, 1 because I reduce it. 1, 1, and then this is just the square root of 2. Okay na ta dirang dapita?
Okay, sir.
Hello? Okay. So, asa man ta dapit mag-moment to get the force in member what? FDE.
At A,
Class, asa
sir.
man ta mag-moment? Ha?
At A, sir.
At A.
Moment. Summation moment at A.
Pwede ta mag-moment at A. No, but if mag-moment ta sa A, how many unknowns do we have?
Dua,
Usa na lamang,
sir.
sir.
Dua. Dua. Nganong usama na lang?
Kaya ang C,
Sa
sir,
E,
di
dagay
ba?
mag-moment, sir.
If we take summation of moment at point A, Kanilang man siya ang ma-zero. But this one, dili ni siya ma-zero duwa. So we have two unknowns.
Sa E, dagoy mag-win, sir.
Hindi ka mo-moment
Nagets
sa
ninyo? This one is not equal to zero. Diba that one? This one is not equal to zero. This one is also not equal to zero. This one, if you take summation of moment at 8 point A, kanila siya ang ma-zero. Kanila siya ang ma-zero. Kaning FCE. But the other, kaning naka-pink na circle, dili na siya ma-zero. Asa man ta mag-moment para ma-zero ang duwa.
Sa E,
E or
sir.
D, sir.
Ha?
D, sir.
E,
E or D.
E. So if we take at point E, unsa mga members ang ma-zero?
C,
These
C,
members
sir.
FCE.
members will be zero. So ang mabilin is FDF. So we can take summation of moment at point E para makuha ang FDF. Na follow lang?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So, in other words, instead of taking summation of moments at point A, we take summation of point E instead para ma-zero ang duwa ka members and then FDF lang ang mabilin. Okay. So, we take summation of moments at E is equals to 0. Clockwise is positive. So, what are the clockwise forces?
DF, sir.
DF, sir.
FDF. So what, but in this case, what is the moment arm of your FDF? So what is now
Four.
the moment arm of your, asa man ang 4? Asa man nagika ng 4? Asa man ang moment arm if we take it at FDF? If we take summation of moments, let's say FDF, square root of 2. Ang mga clockwise na ito, mga forces is, yes, FDF. What else? AY. Let's
EY,
start
sir.
with AY sa, because that is clockwise. So AY, that is 14 over 3. What is the moment arm? That is 12. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And then FDF. So what is now the moment arm of your FDF? Think of it. What is the moment arm of your FDF?
4, sir.
1 over square root of 5.
Or square root of 2, sir.
1 over
Huh?
square root of 5, sir.
Or square root of 2.
No, that is, you're talking, meaning kang 1 over the square root of 5, that is, you're talking about the vertical component of FDF. I'm talking about the FDF itself. The moment arm, di ba, when you say moment, that is the force times the distance. So what is now the moment arm or the distance, the perpendicular distance from FDF to point E?
4 square root of 2, sir.
4, asa lagi ka ng 4? This one is 4.
6, sir.
6 minus 2, sir.
Asa man ang 6 gikan? So, you can have it as, para dili mo maglibog, so your FDF, you kuan this one, you, bungkago na mo ni siya into components para dili ka maglibog. Okay? So, inigbungkag ni mo na siya into components. So, unsay may tabuan na niya? So, FDF, you have a vertical component right here and the horizontal component right here. This is FDF X and then FDF Y. Tama? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Pwede na siya dirang dapita. You can also have it at dirang dapita. FDY or FDX. Pwede po na siya dirang dapita. FDY. Same ra na siya value. But, asa man siya dapat tsadang ibutang? Diri ba nato kinalang ibutang sa tunga? Or diri sa joint D? Ay F. Joint F. This
Sa
is
F,
the joint
sir.
F. Mas maayo siya ang ato siyang ibutang sa point F ang mga components because we already know the distance. Kabalo naman ta sa itong mga distance at point F. Tama? We already know the distance at diri nga point. We know that that is 12 and then the distance from A to F is 12 and then the distance from E to F that is 6. Tama? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If diri nato ibutang ang atong mga vertical components and horizontal components, then we have to locate this distance na pod. We have to locate this distance na pod and then we have to locate this distance na pod for our moment arm. If ato siyang ibutang diring dapita, diri at point D, we know that that is 8 and this one is 4. Tama? So, kabalo na tadaan. So, you have to locate your vertical and horizontal components at a point nga kanang kabalo na ka para pag imong moment arm, pag tuyok nimo, dali na lang. Nagets ninyo nga akong point, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oo,
sir.
Yes, sir.
So ang akong buhaton is ako siyang i-locate at point F ang akong horizontal and vertical components. So in other words, the vertical component FDY or the FDY will be
Zero.
sa man zero
Zero.
Zero, sir.
because wala na kay moment arm. So I am left with FDX. Very good. So ano lang, FDX, so this is FDF X, that is the horizontal component. And what is now the moment arm?
6, sir.
6.
That is correct. That is 6. The moment arm is 6. And then do we have another clockwise moment? Wala na sa? We have equals to counterclockwise na. So we start with 1 times 12 plus 2. So what is this distance now? Na-complicated ba?
Sir.
This is something. Huh? What is this distance? This
8.
distance
8,
to...
sir.
8,
So
sir.
this is 8. Sure ka 8? So this is 12 minus 4. So that is 8. Ano naman dito sa taas? 8 raman di ay susun sa guni. Nga nung sulat-sulat pa ko dira. Ano naman di sa taas? So 4, 1 times 2, and then 2 times 8 plus 2 times 4. So could you please evaluate, class? So kani 14 times 12 over 3 pila na? Pila ni class? 12 plus 16, 28 plus 8, 36. Tama ba? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Negative 20, sir.
Plus 8. So 36 minus
56, sir.
56. So pila ning FDX? FDFX? Pila ni? So 36 minus 56 divided by 6.
Negative 3.33.
Negative 3. So that is 15 over 3. Ay, 9 over 3. Ay, pila na, class?
10 over 3, sir.
10 over 3,
20
sir.
over
10 over 3.
20 over 10 or 20?
20 over 6, sir. Or 10 over 3.
10 over
3,
3,
sir.
sir.
10 over 3.
Oh, ba, wait sa 56 minus 36 divided by 6. So 10 over 3. So negative 10 over 3 kilonewton. But that is just the horizontal component pa. Wala pa nato na solve ang FDX. So what is the horizontal component FDX? That is 2 over the square root of 5. So FDX is just equal to 2 over the square root of 5 FDF. So what is the horizontal component? 2 divided by the hypotenuse. So the horizontal is axis. Unsa nga number ang nasa horizontal component? That is 2 divided by the hypotenuse. That is the square root of 5. That's how you take the horizontal component. So is equal to 2 FDF. So your FDF is, so pila man ni class? So negative 10 the square root of 5 over 6 or is equals to 5 the square root of 5 over 3 negative or is equals to kilonewton. So pila ni class? Or 5 the square root of 5 over 3 kilonewton that is in compression. So this is how you have calculated your member FDF. Okay ra ba? Na-solve ra ba? Na-follow ra class diring dapita? Hello, na-follow ra?
Yes, sir.
Need more,
Could
sir.
you please check?
Makalibo gamay, sir.
Gani, sir.
Libo gamay. Kani siya, this is just the FDX. Kuan pa man siya? This is the horizontal component pa man. But we want to convert it into the main component or the main force nga FDF. This is just, kato nga FDX, this is just, kani pa lang na siya, the horizontal component. But we want is kaning FDF. So if we take summation of forces vertical, summation of forces vertical is equals to 0. What do we have now? Positive going up. So what are the forces na going up? That is 14 over 3. What else? Class, unsa pa? Unsa pa yung mga forces na going up?
FDF, sir.
FDY.
FDFY.
Correct. FDFY. FDFY. Plus FDFY. What else? Wala na going up, no? It's equal to going down na ta. What are the forces going down? That is 1 plus 2 plus 2. Mura na siya. So 1 plus 2 plus 2. That's 5. Okay. Plus, sa paman.
FDE nga Y,
Hmm?
sir. FDE nga Y.
Ha? FDE nga Y.
Y.
Ang down sa? FDFY, correct. FDEY. Isa pa? Wala na? Napa wala na? Wala na sa? Up is 14 over 3 and FDY and then down is FDEY. So what is 14 over 3? FDFY. So what is FDFY? So 1, Y. The vertical component is 1 over the square root of 5. So 1 over the square root of 5. So munang mas dali na siya compared sa mga cosine. So 1 over the square root of 5. But what is FDF? Your FDF is 5 the square root of 5 all over 3. This is your FDF. Equals 5 plus what is FDFY? So what is the Y component of this one? So 1 the square root of 2. So plus 1 over the square root of 2 FDE. So this one cancels. Na-follow pa rin yung class?
Dili na siya negative ang konsa.
Hmm?
Ang Di na siya negative ang FDF.
Wait. FDF. No, and this is negative. Correct. Correct. Because the original niya is negative and then we assume that is intention and then
Thank you, sir.
sakto. Very good. So pila ni? 14/3 minus 5/3. Ato sa lang isulat. So 1 over the square root of 2 FDE is equals to 14/3 minus 5/3 minus 5. So FDE is equals to pila ni class? 14/3 minus 5/3 minus 5.
Negative 2, sir.
Before?
Negative 2?
So this is negative 2 the square root of 2. So this is the final answer. For FDE is equals to 2 the square root of 2 over 3 kilonewton in compression. Ay. Ana. And if you take summation of forces horizontal, then you will be able to get your FCE. So, follow the class? So, any questions? FDF and FDE. So, probably you can try to solve other, like, getting a member, FG, and then EG. You should try that. When you if mag-study gani mo, you should try to solve these members during the pita sa FG, EG, and then EH. Class questions?
Pwede mo lang usog sa final answer, sir.
This one?
Ano na siyang iyang
What do you mean?
okay, 14 minus 5 is 9 divided by 3. Kay pareha man silang 3, sir. Magawas niya is
14/3 minus 5/3 minus 5 negative 2.
Yeah, negative
Ay, ala.
4.
Dapat
Dayon
negative
divided by
2.
4 root 2 na lang, sir.
Negative 2 over
Wait.
square root of 2? Na lang, sir.
Dapat negative 2 the square root of 2 na lang di ay. So negative 2 the square root of 2. Tama, very good. Kilonewton. Sakto, no?
Thank you, sir. Yes.
So this is FDE 2 the square root of 2 kilonewtons. So try to internalize. So kitaasan ninyo ang process para Oh.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Yes.
So pwede ba siya pwede ba mag-moment sa A, sir?
Pwede ka mag-moment sa A para unsa may mosolvon. If na-solve na nimo ning FDF, pwede na ka mag-summation of moments at A because na naman kay value sa FDF. So ang imong unknown is only FDE na lang. I mean ba after this one, after getting this answer, hello, ma-follow ako ninyo, madunggan ako ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for example, humana mo diring dapita, na-solve na ninyo ang FDF. Okay? Na-solve na ninyo ang FDF. Pwede na mo take summation of moments at A because ma-solve naman mo ang FDE. Tama? Ma-solve na ninyo ni. If you take summation at point A, masolve na nimo ang FDE because na naman kay value sa imong FDF, which is 5, the square root of 5 over 3. And then FCE becomes 0.
Dili din extend ang
Unsa?
dili din pwede ma-extend ang line of action sa first term.
Dili pwedeng ma-extend ang line of action sa what?
Sa first term ba? Sa FDF ug sa FDE.
No, dili. Dapat they should act at a particular joint lang kung asa ka nag-moment.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because if imo siyang i-extend during the pita, so naman ka din, naman kay force during nga F. This one. So, you have to take the kuan. Dapat, ug dira ka mo-moment nga ana nga particular joint. Let's say, mag-moment ka diri at point A, nag-moment ka diri nga point A, ang kanis lang nga joint will be 0. But also FCE because FCE wala kay moment arm. Wala kay moment arm because FCE times pila yung moment arm, that's 0. But if diri ka sa pikas nga side, naman kay moment arm. So, questions class. So, anyway, pag ma-solve na nimo yung FDF, you can take summation of moment at point A. So, pwede ma-solve na nimo yung FDE. And then, let's proceed with, I don't know if mahuman nato ni siya karon, but let's say shear. Unsa gani itong discussion nato sa shear? Unsa gani, what is a shearing force gani? Kimberly Fritz? Kimberly? Hello. Nawawala si Kimberly. Madunggan pa ko ninyo class o dili na?
Yes, sir.
Tinaot na kog load.
Yes, sir.
Napadi ay. Kimberly? Nawala si Kimberly. Nawala na dayon. Sige, John Mark.
Yes, sir.
Nawala po si John Mark.
Sir, shear, sir.
Shear. What is a shear
Same
force?
concept kanang if there are opposite forces sir nga makakosya o nga cutting or curve.
So correct. Sige, so you have the point. That's I accept that. So for example, you have the truss, 'di ba? When you unsa ganito akong discussion last time sa truss na ako'y method of joints. This one. So these are what you call the bolts or this is what you call the rivets. So kani siya, this one. Kani. Ay, dako ra kayo. This one. Kaning 6 ka buok. Hello? Can you nakita ninyo?
Yes, sir.
So these
Yes,
are the
sir.
rivets. So these are the ones connecting the members of the truss para kuan siya ba kanang to each other nga kanang ma-connect nimo ang mga members padulong sa imong nga structure. So the other one is called the gusset plate, and then from the gusset plate you connect the members of the truss using either a bolt or a rivet, or at the same time you can also weld this one, but for in this case we use a bolted connection. So unsa man ang atong shearing action nga nahitabo sa atong nga bolt? For example, muna itong bolt. This is the top section. Ato na lang siya i-copy. Let's move sa... So if you take that action, this is your plate, this is your gusset plate. Makuan pa ko ninyo class, madunggan pa ko ninyo.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Potol-potol. So this is your kuan, so then this is your member. Ay. So this is the member. So let's say this one is the gusset. And then this is the member. The trust member sa trust. And then these are the ones, the bolts. Muna siya itong mga bolts. Saan mo na ako pag-drawing, oy. Very bad at drawing, good. So, diri na mo siya ga-connect. So, this one. So, this muna siyang example sa itong mga bolt. So, this is, in this case, mga 6 siya kabuok. Basta muna na siya, class. So, muna siya itong mga bolts nga nag-connect ani nila. So, ang asa man ang shearing action nga na-develop sa itong mga bolt. So, muna siya naitabo. So, because of the tension and compression that is acting by this truss member, we are developing a shear stresses within the bolts. So, asa na siya nag-occur? Hello? Sa tunga sa bolt. So, diri siya. So, these stresses develops during the pita because at this point, muna siya atong mga cutting sa atong section. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Muna siya atong
Yes, sir.
iputol.
Yes, sir.
So, unsa ganito itong definition sa stress? That is the force over the area. That is for tension, axial stresses. This is for compressive stress, and this is for tensile stresses. Now, we also have another stress, which is what you call a shearing stress. It's also, in the terms of since this is also its stress, then therefore this is also a force over area. But which area now we are referring to? This is the area that we are referring here is what you call the shearing area. So in this case, in these bolts, pilang atong shearing area. Let's say for example, the diameter of the bolt is, let's say the diameter of the bolt is 10 mm. So pilang imong shearing area? Class, pilang imong shearing area in that case? Let's say that the bolt diameter is 1. So what is the shearing area? So the area of that one is how many bolts are in there? So we have 6. So what is the area of the shearing area?
25 pi. 25 pi.
So pi over 4 times 10
10
squared.
squared.
So pila man ni ron? So it's 100 divided by
25
4. That
pi.
is 25 pi.
Yes, sir. Ay, 6 na pala, 6. Na pala 6.
Times 6. So 150?
150, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So 150 pi. So this is, we will proceed, we will have a in-depth definition, we will have an in-depth discussion on shearing and bearing next time, but I'm just giving you an idea of asa ang shearing, asa ang bearing mag-occur. And what is, when we talk about stress, because stress is just a force over area, but the area there is vague man guna siya kayo. Asa man nga area imong gamiton. So if we talk about the shearing area, so this is the shearing area which is kaninga brown. But when we talk about the axial area, or when we talk about when we talk about compressive stress or tensile stress, asa nga area ang atong i-consider? Of course, the area of this member. If this is just rectangular, then the area of this one. If you cut the section right there, if you cut this one, if you cut this member, what do you, So if I am if sa exam nag-ask ko nga this is a compressive this is an axial stress, then therefore you should refer to this area, no? If you cut this section, the member of the truss, and then expose that one, let's say this is rectangular, then the area of that one is rectangular. Let's say this beam or this truss member is rectangular, then if you draw that one, so what is the area? So this is just base times height. This is just base times height, no? But mingon ko nga, what is the shearing stress that is developed in the bolt? Then therefore, what is the area ang imong gamiton? Then therefore, the shearing stress nga diri sa ato nga bolt, which is this one. And then how many bolts are involved? And then if the exam also states nga what is the bearing stress? So asa po ni makita nato atong bearing stress class? Bearing stress. Bearing stress kuan. Hans. Hans Jasper. What is bearing stress? Hans? Hello? Padungog ko class? Wala na.
Madungog na sir.
Padungog na,
Madungog
sir.
na, sir.
Si Hans ra may di
Tawag ba,
kadungog
sir?
na ko. Muna ni Ron kay di na dayon kadungog. Ikaw kuan, Santilian. Santilian? Sige, pangutanon na to si May Buena kay gadumot jud kuan niya last time. Sige, May Buena. Asa man na tong bearing stress ani?
Kanang sa upper sir kay kaning nasa left side sir. Tapos sa kanang sa lower kanang sa truss member sir kay kanang nasa right side sir sa third bolt.
So
Kanang
let's say
area dira sa
so the force is where the force is going. So padulong diri ang imong force. So therefore asa imong bearing area diri sa ubos? May Buena. Ang imong force is padulong diri sa left.
yes sir.
Asa ang imong force ani? Asa imong bearing stress?
Patong sa right tapit sir. Right
Ha?
nga area sir. Patong sa right tapit nga area sir.
This one?
Yes sir, kanang sir.
Correct. Very good. So there is a taas, there po siya nga area. So if the exam, dili pa na ko siya appeal sa exam now because we will still have a discussion on the bearing and shearing, but I'm just giving you an idea. So ako na ni siyang gibalik, but unsa po na siya nga area ang na-develop diri, unsa nga area. So therefore, if you draw that into a 3D diagram, ngay, mo jud nga subject kay kada kang drawing ono niya. Kaya sa Ginoo ko kanang the way ta nga mo drawing kay di pa jud patsada. So makalisod jud ko. So sabta na lang sa ninyo niya akong madre drawingan ha kay akong ipasara ko sa akong drawing sa una tungod kay ay ni drawing sa akong mga trabaho. Charot ra. So mo ni siya karon. So this is the holes. I'm just considering one hole lang ha. One hole lang. Partial. So muna siya karon class. So this is ay hala. So this one is so muna siya karon ang plate na to ano ana lang sa so muna karon so this is now the area So if you cut this section, so the thickness of the plate, so when we talk about bearing, so kani siya nga section is this one. This one, the top portion lang akong gikuha. So when we talk about bearing, let's say maputol siya dirang dapita, what is now our bearing area? What is the bearing area class nga itong i-consider? We consider now the vertical projection of this area. So this is times the thickness. So for the bearing, hello, madungog pa ko ninyo?
Yes, sir.
For the area, so for the area under bearing, which is, this is the diameter times the thickness. So mura siya kani siyang area class. Kani nga siyang area. This one. Kani nga area. So that is your bearing area. So when you say bearing, that is force over area. So this area is referring to the bearing area. This is for bearing. This is for bearing stress. So you should be able to identify asa nga mga parts sa imong structure involved. Let's say if axial compression and tension, stress, then kabalo na ka nga, it is the member. If shearing, that is the shearing stress nga involved sa imong bolts. But when you say the bearing, say bearing good. What do you mean by bearing good, Israel? The bearing area is this one, the projection sa imong nga bolt, that is the diameter of your bolt times the thickness of your plate. So mura na siya class, the bearing area. So we will have some more discussions on bearing and shearing next time. So the topic of bearing and shearing is already, I think, in chapter 2 or chapter 1 pa ba ni. Anyway, we will have more discussions on bearing and shearing next time. So we've already finished axial compression and tension, including the stresses and how to find those stresses. And next time, kanina tong discussion. So just to give you an idea nga, these are the stresses nga involved sa imong structure. Because when you're doing a connection design class, di ba, the strength of your structure is only as good as its weakest member. So bisan pag unsa ka kusganing ay imong mga members, you provide, you know that the stress of these members are, you know that these beams or these truss members can accommodate 100 kilonewton loads. But when you try to connect with each other, you found out that your weakest connection is the shear. And then therefore, you have to design your shear in accordance para kuan lang sa class, para mas strong ang imong connection. So my point here is, actually langas kay sa diri, so maglisod ko una-una. So my point lang jud is the strength or your structure is only as strong as your weakest member. So if your weakest member is your connection, let's say the number of bolts nga imong gi-supply is dili enough, or supposedly this connection requires 10 bolts, but then you supplied only 6, then therefore, if there is something that is going to fail in the system, then it's probably in the connection. And probably the failure would occur in the shearing of your bolts, or it could be in the bearing of your gusset plates, or it could be the failure could also occur in the actual, in terms of axial stresses in the form of axial tension or compression sa imong nga member. Any questions, class? Questions? Hello? Hello? Questions? Tikay ko
Sir,
kadungog.
ang bearing sir kay sa member na og sa plate.
Yes, the bearing occurs sa imuang ug asas ang atong point of contact. In this case, ang atong point of contact is the gusset plate and the bolt.
Okay, sir.
Ug asa dapit ang nag-point of contact. That is the bearing.
Yeah, ang gasset plate sir, dili na siya doble sir, like back to back alam sa pikas pod sa pikas
Depende,
pod sa
depende sa
number.
detail. Depende sa
So
detail.
if duha sir, mag times 2 na pod mi sir.
Yes, mag times 2 na po ka. And if ang imong bolt, let's say for example, in this connection, inana na siya, no? This is your connection. For example, mo imong connection. And then, nakay usa nga dako nga bolt diring dapita nga nag-connect nilang duha. So let's say this is the bolt. So in this connection, so this is the force. The force, this one is P. Then therefore, pila man ang opposite and equal reaction. Then therefore, this is P over 2. This is also P over 2. Tama?
Yes.
So when you try to calculate the shearing, in this case, asa man atong mga sheared area? This is now your shearing area. In this case, since nagabirahan na man sila ang usa padulong sa taas, ang usa padulong sa ubos, chances are if this connection is going to fail, it will fail in number one. Number one mode of failure is the shearing of your bolt. So you have now two shearing area. So your area will be multiplied by 2. Depende sa configuration sa imong connection. Can you understand? Because in this case, duwa na ang imong sharing area. Hello?
Number of bolts times 2 sir.
No, depende. Times, this is the sharing area. Basta imong sharing area is, this is what you call a double shear. Duwa ka area because diri ka sa pikas and then the other one napugay connection. And sa imo nga bearing, you check the bearing between the bolt and this member, kaning nga member kaning P, this one, the bearing diri, and also the bearing diring dipita. So you can use the thickness of this plate and also the thickness of this plate. So you're going to check two bearings. Bearing diring ganina, kaning sa may P over 2, and then the bearing po diri sa may P lang. Ana. So that is when you do connection design. So actually, it's a little bit complicated, but